My best friend's sister gave me a sealed letter before her wedding. The letter had my name written on it. Just my name. Daniel. No return address. No explanation. Just a cream-colored envelope sealed with a small piece of red wax. And the person handing it to me was Emily, my best friend's little sister. She was wearing a wedding dress. "Don't open it until after the ceremony," she whispered. I looked at her, confused. "What's in it?" She smiled, but her eyes were nervous. "Please, Daniel. Promise me." I should have asked more questions. Instead, I nodded. "I promise." I had no idea that one letter was about to change everything I thought I knew about my best friend, his sister, and my own life. I had known Michael since we were 8 years old. We grew up on the same street, went to the same school, played on the same baseball team, and somehow stayed best friends through college and adulthood. His family practically considered me one of them. Especially his younger sister, Emily. When we were kids, she was the annoying little sister who followed us everywhere. Michael and I would be playing basketball, and Emily would suddenly appear and demand to be included. "You're too young," Michael would tell her. Then she'd cross her arms and say, "Daniel lets me play." And somehow, I always did. As we got older, things changed. Emily stopped being the little kid with messy hair and scraped knees. She became beautiful. Smart. Funny. And that created a problem I never wanted to admit. I started seeing my best friend's sister differently. So I did what any loyal friend would do. I buried those feelings as deeply as I could. Michael never knew. Emily never knew. At least, I thought she never knew. Years passed. I moved to another city for work, but Michael and I stayed close. We talked every week, and whenever I came home, his family invited me over for dinner. Then, one day, Michael called me. "Big news, brother." "What happened?" "Emily's getting married." For some reason, my chest tightened. I forced myself to sound happy. "That's amazing." "Yeah. His name is Ryan. Good guy. You'll like him." I stared out of my apartment window. "When's the wedding?" 3 months. "And you're coming?" That's not even a question. Of course I said yes. Michael was my best friend. Emily was practically family. And besides, I told myself, maybe seeing her marry someone else would finally help me let go of feelings I'd carried around for years. I was wrong. The wedding day arrived on a warm Saturday afternoon. The church was beautiful. White flowers lined the aisle, soft music played in the background, and guests filled every seat. I stood near the front beside Michael. He looked nervous. "Can you believe my little sister is getting married?" he asked. I smiled. "Feels like yesterday she was following us around." Michael laughed. "Remember when she cut her own hair because you said she couldn't play basketball with us?" I laughed too. "She blamed me for that for 6 months. She had a crush on you, you know." My smile disappeared. "What?" Michael looked at me casually. "When we were teenagers. It was obvious." I tried to act normal. "Yeah, well, teenagers have crushes." Michael shrugged. "Maybe. But she really liked you." Before I could ask another question, the music changed. Everyone stood. And Emily appeared at the end of the aisle. For a few seconds, the entire room disappeared. She looked beautiful. Not just because of the dress. There was something in her expression I couldn't understand. She looked happy. But also sad. And as she walked past me, her eyes met mine. Then, almost without moving her lips, she whispered, "Don't forget the letter." The ceremony ended. Everyone cheered as Emily and Ryan walked back down the aisle together. I clapped with everyone else. I smiled for the photographs. I congratulated the groom. But my hand kept touching the inside pocket of my jacket. The letter was still there. At the reception, I tried to focus on the celebration. Michael was giving a speech. People were laughing. The band was playing. But I couldn't stop thinking about what was inside that envelope. Why had Emily given it to me? And why had she made me promise not to open it until after the ceremony? Finally, I stepped outside. The evening air was cool and quiet. I found an empty bench near the garden. Then I took out the envelope. My name was still staring back at me. Daniel. My hands were shaking slightly as I broke the red wax seal. Inside was a single folded letter. I opened it. And began to read. Dear Daniel. If you're reading this, then I married Ryan today. I stopped. My heart was already beating faster. I continued. I need you to know something before I lose the courage to ever tell you. I've loved you for a very long time. I stared at those words. Then I read them again. I've loved you for a very long time. The rest of the world suddenly felt silent. My eyes moved down the page. Maybe you never noticed. Maybe you did and chose to ignore it. I don't know. But when we were younger, you were my first real crush. Then I grew up, and somehow the feelings never completely disappeared. I swallowed hard. You were always there for me, Daniel. When Michael was too busy, you listened. When I was scared, you made me laugh. When I thought I wasn't good enough, you reminded me that I was. And every time I tried to fall in love with someone else, I compared them to you. My hands began to shake. Ryan is a good man. He loves me. And I believe I can have a happy life with him. But before I start that life, I need to finally say goodbye to the part of me that always wondered, what if? There was one final paragraph. If you ever felt the same way, please don't tell me. Not today. Don't ruin this day. Just keep this letter and remember that, once upon a time, there was a girl who loved you quietly for years. Goodbye, Daniel. Love. Emily. I sat there for what felt like hours. The sounds of the wedding continued behind me. Music. Laughter. Glasses clinking. And I couldn't move. Because the truth was, I had loved her too. For years. Maybe we had spent our entire lives standing only a few steps away from the same truth. Both of us too afraid to say it. Both of us waiting. Both of us thinking there would always be more time. I folded the letter carefully and placed it back inside the envelope. Then I returned to the reception. I saw Emily dancing with Ryan. She looked over at me. For one brief moment, neither of us smiled. We just looked at each other. And somehow, she knew. She knew I had read the letter. She knew I understood. Then she gave me the smallest smile. Not a happy smile. Not exactly a sad one either. It was the smile of someone finally putting down a secret she had carried for too long. I smiled back. And raised my glass. Congratulations, I whispered. She nodded. Then turned back toward her husband. That night, I went home and put the letter in a drawer. For weeks, I couldn't stop thinking about it. I wanted to call her. I wanted to tell her everything. I wanted to say, I loved you too. I was just afraid of losing Michael. Afraid of ruining our friendship. Afraid of everything. But her letter had asked me not to. So I stayed silent. Months passed. Then years. Emily and Ryan moved away. Michael and I remained best friends. And I never told him what happened. The sealed letter remained in my drawer. Sometimes, I would take it out and read it. Not because I wanted to destroy Emily's marriage, but because it reminded me of something important. Sometimes, the greatest regrets in life aren't caused by making the wrong choice. They're caused by saying nothing at all. By assuming there will always be another day. Another chance. Another moment. There isn't always. And some words, once left unspoken, can stay with you forever. So if you love someone, if there's something in your heart that truly needs to be said, don't always wait for the perfect moment. Because one day, the only thing you may have left is a sealed letter. And a lifetime of wondering what might have been.